from a fallout shelter somewhere under Seattle, Washington, it's the show you've been waiting for. Get ready to join your hosts, John and Kenrick, as they talk comics, movies, and more. Now here's Spoiler Country!
All right. Welcome back to Spoiler Country. I'm Kenrick and that is Mr. Horsley. And today, it's another tangent. Just tangents all over the place.
Tangent, motherfucker.
Yeah, I love these episodes. They tend to do really well, which is always cool for because we're stat watchers.
Well, it's great when something we like to do does well. It's like, oh, we'll just do more of what we want to do.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, for some reason, someone's actually out there listening to us go off on tangents.
It's probably like, our mom listens to it over and over again.
Right. Thanks, Mom. I doubt my mom's listening. We swear too much.
I doubt. My mom, she listens to my other one when my daughter was on it.
Yeah,
watches their radio.
Yeah,
but I don't think she's ever listened to this one. But this is Tangent of Tangents 5. So
yeah, it's our 5th time doing this style.
Yeah. What started out as just an episode where we just push record and we didn't have anything to talk about has now become a series because it's fun for us to just push record, not have an agenda to talk about and just do it. Now, I will preface this episode by saying we are recording this. I'm prefacing the episode.
Yeah, I know. It's just a nice word.
Oh, okay.
Good wordplay.
Well, we are recording this prior to our 1-year anniversary and prior to San Diego Comic-Con.
Yeah.
So we're not going to this is not going to be released until probably after both of those things.
Yeah,
so,
who knows? I mean, it might not even go out until what? After San Diego? Sorry.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So there may be a chance that we talk about like, oh, we're going to be in San Diego or we're coming up on 100, but just understand this was recorded before those things happen, and we're going to release it probably afterwards because this is just one we're doing for fun to hold on to.
We're recording in June. This will come out sometime in July, possibly early August.
Yeah,
so there you go.
So this episode is like a time capsule,
right?
You're hearing us in the past.
Mm-hmm.
So, Kenrick, how you doing?
I'm doing well, man. I mean, life is challenging at the moment. We got some personal bullshit going on that I won't bring up on here to bore everybody with. Nothing that's impacting me too bad personally, but is impacting people that I love in my life. So, it's always difficult. But I have the house to myself tonight, which is a rarity and an oddity. Of course, if someone keeps calling me, it won't be so much.
It's only happened 2 or 3 times.
To work on the hotel TV. It's like, stop. You left.
You're going to leave for the night to go on a little mini vacation and then leave and don't.
Yeah, you're going to have a girls' night out, and you're going to take all the kids and your friend and have a girls' night out. Have a girls' night out.
Yeah. Not a girls' night out plus Lifeline to Kenrick.
Right. Right. They wanted me to drive like 50 miles to where they're at just to set up the ability to watch Netflix on the TV.
Are you serious?
Yeah. I'm like, no. I got work in the morning. I got stuff. And of course they like to use the guilt of the kids on you.
Right. Always. We're like, no, you're 50 miles away. It's an hour there, an hour back.
Right.
No,
right. I'm not doing that. It was kind of funny. It is what it is.
It's kind of funny. It is what it is. Yeah, it's good though. I mean, it's good that life's going good outside of a couple personal things.
Yeah. Yeah. So
because all of our listeners care.
So
I assume they do.
This morning, actually, I got on Facebook.
Yeah.
And Kevin Joseph had the creator of Tart, as anybody who's listened to more than a couple episodes has probably heard his name on this podcast. And he had a cool...
He's like a celebrity.
Yeah, he's like our own personal celebrity. He has a cool post. And...
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
What's that?
Here it is. Let me bring it up. Make me choose between 2 superheroes. He just posted, I want to play. So the concept is you give him 2 superheroes and he tells you which one he likes more and why.
Oh, cool.
So I'm going to give you 2 superheroes.
Okay. Oh, God.
Yep.
On the spot. All right.
Yep. On the spot. And you tell me which one's better and why.
Okay. Let's do this.
All right. Hold on a second, because I want to find some random ones. I want it to be random, so we might have to truncate some silence here.
All right.
You can hear the clicking of the keys. Okay, Barbara Gordon, Plastic Man.
So is this...
Doesn't matter. I just picked two. They just happen to both be DC not on purpose. I literally just typed in random superheroes.
Right.
But
I have to clarify. Is this Barbara Gordon as Barbara Gordon or as Batgirl or as Oracle?
Batgirl
as
Plastic
Batgirl.
Man,
Okay.
Plastic Man.
Okay.
Because as Oracle, it's not really fair. It's like, you know.
Right. Okay. I'm going to have to go Plastic Man on this one.
Weird. That's a weird combination.
It is. I'm going to have to go Plastic Man because, this is one we should have done on our similar episodes of Plastic Man and Mr. Fantastic. But
there you go. Part 4 coming soon.
Part 4. There you go. We'll go down that road when we get there. I have to go Plastic Man because I've always been fascinated by Plastic Man because he's a Golden Age character from Police Comics.
Okay.
And he first appeared in Police Comics number 1 in I think 1940 or 1941, something like that. He's not just stretchy, he's plastic, right? So he can form his body into different shapes and mold it into different things.
Right.
Essentially, he could shapeshift into people if he really wanted to because he has that much control over his body.
He looks like Elvis.
But he's, kind of.
Not kind of. He's got Elvis's glasses. They're awesome.
Well, he started out as a thief, right? He started out as he would steal things. Yeah. And then he got these abilities of, being able to stretch and do all this cool stuff. And he's funny. He's a detective, but he's also he's like a zany detective. He's just ridiculous. And
we're seeing the beginnings of him in Flash right now on the TV show.
Shut up. I'm not watching. I'm not caught up.
Oh, you serious? That was like
serious.
A year and a half ago.
Dude, I'm like on season 3.
Okay. No, man, it's been too long for you to be shut up. That's like, he's been on commercials for God's sakes.
I don't have TV. I don't watch TV.
Well, cause you're granola, whatever.
I am not crunchy. Fuck you.
Anyways,
I'm just cheap.
Keep going.
So he's funny and he's like this detective that has, humor to him. And if you watch him on like Brave and the Bold and the Justice League cartoons, he's always trying to be this like Justice League member and friends with Batman and stuff. And it never actually works out very well for him.
Yeah.
And I just think he's so much more of a unique character than Batgirl. And I love Batgirl, right? But Batgirl is just female Batman with some, and she's been molded into this character of her own over time.
Created for the TV show.
Created for the 60s TV show and then brought into the comic books afterwards. And then, she has legacy characters after her, Cassandra Cain and Stephanie Brown. But I feel like she's just a female version of a male hero, right? That's why she was created. And Plastic Man is like, he was a very unique character for his time, right? And he hasn't quite, he's translated into the current comics and he keeps showing up. Like Kyle Barker did a great series of Plastic Man in the early 2000s. It's so great and comical and fantastic. And I knew he was on Flash. So I read it online and I'm excited to see what they do with him there because I've always loved the character of Plastic Man. And I think he's a much cooler character than Barbara Gordon, Batgirl.
Oh, that's funny. You know what's funny is I didn't know. I don't think I knew until you told me. I didn't know that Plastic Man was so far before Mr. Fantastic.
Oh yeah, he's
and the reason is because my first foray into the Fantastic Four was the cartoon.
Oh, with the robot guy?
I don't remember. I was really small. I was like 5 years old. 6 years old, and it was on Saturday morning cartoons.
Oh, okay.
Like we're talking like 1978, dude. 1979, and they were. I think they were original. I think they actually started in the 60s, and they were just repeats.
Yeah.
And so I watched the Fantastic Four cartoons way before, and then Plastic Man came out with a cartoon like in 1980, 1979.
Right.
And so for me, I'm 4 or 5 years old. I'm seeing Mr. Fantastic on the cartoon. And then a couple years later, I'm seeing a new cartoon with this guy called Mr. Plastic or Plastic Man.
Plastic Man, yeah.
Yeah, and he's doing the same thing as Reed Richards on Fantastic Four. And it was just like, oh. And I had the same kind of feelings you had with Green Arrow and Hawkman. Right?
Well, yeah.
But I'm like, I'm really small. I was just like, oh, it's. At first I was like, oh, it's Fantastic Four because I just saw a guy stretching. I'm like, that's not Mr. Fantastic.
Well, and I'm actually going to put this one down for our next episode of the DC Marvel Similar Characters because this is actually a really good one we should have talked about. But here, I'll do it in reverse order because it's kind of funny. Yeah. Mr. Fantastic first appeared in Fantastic Four from November of 1961, right? But Elongated Man from DC appeared in Flash number 112 from May of 1960. And Elongated Man is basically Mr. Fantastic. Like, except for, well, okay, Elongated Man's more of a detective, more of a crime solver than like a scientist. Yeah. But, I mean, stretchy dude.
Yeah.
Stretchy dude.
You know, honestly, the stretchy thing, I don't know. I don't really like it. It's just kind of like, because it just looks so, I think it's because it just doesn't look cool. It never looks cool.
Well, that's kind of why I like Plastic Man too, because Elongated Man and Mr. Fantastic, they're mostly depicted as being able to stretch their arms out and stretch their legs out and stretch their bodies out, whereas Plastic Man does that, but he also will take the form of a fire hydrant, take the form of a chair, take the form of things, and transforms into things into the environment to get what he needs done.
Wonder Twin powers activate. Form of dildo.
Right. Form of Janie's tampon. Now I wait. But Plastic Man was Police Comics from August 1941. But it's cool. You have three characters there. Two of them, Plastic Man wasn't actually a DC character for a long time. Yeah. I don't know if you know that or not. He was, Police Comics wasn't a DC character. It was Quality Comics back in the 40s.
And they purchased it? Did National Periodicals purchase it? Or did DC
1956. In 1956, when they started doing the Silver Age of comics, DC bought Quality Comics.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, but Elongated Man was created, 4 years after they bought the rights to Plastic Man in Flash as a character there, and then the next year, Mr. Fantastic showed up in Marvel.
Crazy.
Yeah, so there you go. You got a little sneak peek of the next issue. The next.
I like issue. The next issue. Oh, you know what I like doing in that whole similar series is find out in the next episode, is so-and-so, so-and-so?
Yeah.
We didn't do that because we don't have
new ones.
Yeah, we got to have more planning of our show at times.
Now what's going to be hilarious is if we hold this episode until after we do Similar Characters 4 and they hear us talk about it in that episode and then hear this episode where we talk about talking about it.
Right. It's like, what? That's kind of fun. So that was kind of fun. Thank you, Jeff and Joseph, for doing that. It kind of gave us an idea, and it turned out pretty funny.
That was perfect.
So a couple of episodes ago, we were just talking about this series that we did of Similar Characters. And it was funny because we were talking about Hyperion, and you were like, I don't know anything about Hyperion. And all I ever think of is when I hear Hyperion is The Fall of Hyperion, the book.
Oh yeah,
the heavy sci-fi Hyperion Cantos. And so it's just kind of funny when I see that, because now I don't know why I'm thinking about that now. I think because we literally just recorded an episode about that
right
before.
Because if we're talking,
this is a double episode night,
right? Because if we're talking honestly, we just finished recording Similar Characters 3, pause for a pee break, and then record this episode.
Yeah, yeah. Let's get some stuff done.
Right. Well, you have an open house, and I have everybody in bed, so why not?
Yeah, let's do this. So, any cool movies this week?
I haven't. The last movie I saw in theater,
Incredibles 2.
Yeah, Incredibles 2. We talked about that already. And I still want to go see Solo. I haven't seen Solo yet. And I'm so far. It's hard to go see a movie right now because with the new job that I have, the new position at work that I have, I'm getting to the office at 7, 8 in the morning, and I'm not able to leave until 4 or 5, which puts me home at 6 or 7.
Yeah.
So that leaves my time with my kids to be an hour, 2 hours before they go to bed. So I'm like,
and if
well,
we're
I'm
going
not
to
going to
record,
see a movie.
You got to do it after they're in bed.
Yeah,
which is
record after that. And then weekends have been busy lately because weekends have been getting the lake ready for the summer, doing outside work here, Ace Comic-Con.
Getting the lake ready for the summer?
Well, yeah.
What do you do? Do you fill the lake?
Yeah, we go out there and we all spit until it's full. No, we have to fucking clean the weeds out and stuff.
Oh, that's nice of you.
Yeah, we have to clean the weeds out of our front portion there, rake it up, and we're going to put some new sand down to make the sand soft area for it to play on before the 4th of July and do all that kind of stuff. And then, it's been nice out, so we go outside and play with the kids, and then it's 9 o'clock and it's bedtime.
Yeah, yeah. Hold on one second. I'll let this dog out.
All right.
Hey, I'm sorry, dude. Give me 2 minutes. Literally, okay. I just got to go out and close the chicken coop.
No problem.
The chickens are already asleep, but I just got to close it so nothing can get in there.
Cool.
7 hours later.
Okay, sorry about that.
No problem. We'll come back.
All right. Yes, Kendrick has chickens.
That's fine. You're allowed.
Even though I'm in the suburbs of Seattle, not in the country by any stretch of the imagination.
Right.
But we got him with the things. Yes, please finish your thought.
I don't even know what I was talking about. So we'll move on. Can I talk about something that's totally not related to comics?
Yeah, totally.
So somebody that I used to work with, who I'm friends on Facebook with, posted a video, and this might be, I don't know, this is kind of off-brand for us, but it's on my mind. And this is a tangent episode, so I think it's okay. It's this device that people are trying to, it's an anti-rape device, right? It's called the Rape Axe.
Okay, interesting.
It's called a Rape Axe, and what it is, it's like this silicone insert that a woman would put inside of her that has razor blades in it.
What?
Yeah.
That doesn't seem hygienic at all.
No, it doesn't, but it's supposed to, like, it has, like, when you put your member inside, it digs into it and locks into you. And you have to get it surgically removed. And they have videos of it being used on a dildo with a fleshlight, and they have a carrot being used with it and how it just shreds it up.
Whoa. But what if she moves the wrong way? I mean, it just seems like it just seems like a catastrophe waiting to happen.
Well, the first comment is, what if the rapist just pulls it out? Or what if they decide to kill the woman for wearing it? Yeah. Or what if they gets their dick cut up and they decide to, murder the woman who did this to them?
Right. And that's what I would be concerned with.
Right. And like, I'm all for don't rape. All for anti-rape stuff. Just don't rape people, right?
Right. There's never a good reason for rape. Right. So, just don't do it.
Just don't do it. This seems a little extreme to me just because, and not because I don't think I totally think they deserve to have their dick chopped off. But like, if it happened, what are they going to do right after it happens? Like I'd worry that's going to make it more violent for the women.
Yeah. Are you worried? Are they going to run away or are they going to lash out?
That's what I read, the lashing out part.
Yeah. That's crazy. Now, where did you see that? You saw it on Facebook?
On Facebook, yeah. The tagline for it says, "We need your support to make this available to women around the world who are in dire need of it. Warning, contains graphic content, not suitable for children."
Crazy.
Yeah, no shit, it's not suitable for children. But
I couldn't even imagine. That's crazy. But
yeah.
The sad thing is that there's people scared enough that think that's a necessity.
Oh, I know. And that's a scary thought right there,
Yeah.
It's the father of 2 daughters. It's a scary thought.
Yeah. Yeah. Tell me about it, man.
But
I would go nuts.
Oh, dude. It's the thought of that just pisses me off so much. Like, public service announcement, don't rape. Just don't do it. Just don't fucking do it.
Right. PSA, don't rape.
Yeah. If you're thinking about it, just stop.
Did you ever watch Parks and Recreation?
I've watched a couple episodes here.
It's like the second episode of the first season, right? Because it's on Netflix right now. So I never watched it, but I thought I'd give it a chance. And it is so funny, man, because they're like trying to fit. So somebody bought some land, right?
Right. And
they dug out the basement to build this big condo on this empty lot, right? So there's this huge hole there. And then the construction company the builder went bankrupt, and that's all they ever did is dug this huge hole.
Right. And I've seen that part.
Yeah, and then Chris Pratt comes along, and he falls in the hole and breaks both his legs. And so the whole thing is they're trying to get that, filled. And so what's her name? The blonde girl from
Amy Poehler.
Yeah, Amy Poehler. She's the main character, and she's trying to get it filled and then made a park out of it. And anyways, God, I lost my train of thought. So they're doing this thing where they go and they're talking to the public in the neighborhood to say if they want it. And this one guy goes, "Yeah, park. Yeah, it's a great idea. Great idea. How far away is this park going to be?" He's like, "Is it more than 1,000 feet? Is it?" He starts asking all the questions. The guy's like telling the high school girl he has with her, "Get behind me. Just get behind me." It's pretty funny. I mean, it's funny as a pedophile can be, I guess.
I mean, it's a TV show, so it's not real, so whatever.
Yeah.
But again, don't rape people.
Again, just don't do it.
I mean, we're saying this jokingly and not hardly, but in reality, just don't do it. It's bad.
Right.
But now, moving on. Next topic. It's enough on rape. Next topic.
Pedophilia and you.
Right.
That's terrible.
No, pedophilia and you.
Just we're not going there. Not going to happen.
No.
Parks and Recreation did it for me.
Right.
Dude, did you ever watch The Guild?
Oh yeah. Oh god, yes. Yes. Felicia Day is awesome.
Why did they stop making that? Do you think it ran its course?
I think it was ran its course, and she
Got too big?
she moved on she was doing TV shows and cons and stuff like that, and just, moved out of it. But that was
When did she start doing that? Did she start doing that during the writer's strike or before?
I think so.
Was it like, I'm not getting any work, so I'm just going to make my own stuff? And then,
I think
because she was kind of like,
before
that was like the first real big web series hit, right?
2007. So it was after that, during the writer's strike, I think, right?
Yeah, that's about the time of the writer's strike, somewhere around
Isn't
there.
it? Yeah, something like that.
For
yeah.
all those young bucks that don't remember, because it's been like a decade since the writer's strike, which is crazy.
Right.
I have cats around me. Can you hear them?
Yeah, that's fine. Man, it ran for 6 seasons.
Yeah, they did quite a bit.
07 to 2013.
And that first one was all on her credit card, and then Microsoft started producing them for her.
And then she went independent in 2012. So it was 08. The first season was all her. 2012 to 2013. 2008 to 2011 was Microsoft, and then 2012 to 2013. So the last season was independent again.
Oh, I didn't realize. I wonder why they pulled out for that last season.
I don't know.
It's kind of weird, right?
Kind of. I haven't watched all of it. I've watched the first, I think, 3.
Oh, I've watched all
seasons of it.
They cracked me up.
They're great. Felicia Day is amazing.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
I can't even talk because I just can't even talk. Stupid. I was like trying to talk, but Dr. Horrible Sing Along Blog. Did you ever watch that?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh god, yes.
They keep talking and teasing about a second one.
They should do it because it show's great.
Because that was done
the internet show
during the writer's strike. That's what. So Josh Whedon and his brother wrote and did all that specifically because the writer's strike was on. So we're like, well, let's just do this on our own.
Right.
And he hired, Neil Patrick Harris, which showed a big range for Neil Patrick Harris because he did all that singing and he did, he carried that whole thing.
Right. He was on How I Met Your Mother at the time, so it was a totally different type of character for him. Right.
Well, he wasn't doing anything with How I Met Your Mother because the writer's strike was
right. I mean, prior to the strike, he was on this sitcom where he played this womanizer person to being on that, and then to coming back to
2008.
It was pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, July 2008 is when the first episode came out, and it was so good, and I don't understand why they never done a second one, because people wanted it, and I don't know if that now that it's weird to say this, it's been a decade since that came out.
Jesus, has it? Oh my god. Yeah. Well, it reminds me, like talking about popular web shows. Did you ever watch Pure Ownage?
No.
Or Pure Ponage, if you want to call it that, because it's spelled PWNANG.
Can I just say this? Have people stopped saying pwned yet?
I don't know. I don't play games anymore.
It just seemed like so dumb. And I was like, first time, I think it came from South Park.
Pwning? No, it came from first person shooter. Like it came from Counter-Strike and stuff.
But I thought that was them mimicking South Park.
No, it was.
Are you sure? Because I thought they did pwning. Like, where did pwned?
I'm pretty sure South Park got it from gaming.
Well, you're probably right. Here we go. Yeah, pwn is elite speak slang term derived from the verb own, meaning appropriate or to conquer, to gain ownership. The term implies domination or humiliation of a rival, used primarily in the internet-based video game culture to taunt an opponent who has been soundly defeated. In script jargon, what says primarily used, not where it actually started. In script kiddie jargon, pwn means to compromise or control, specifically another computer, website, gateway device, or application. It is synonymous with the definitions of hacking or cracking, including iOS jailbreaking. The Pony Awards are awarded by a group of security researchers. Popularity of the term among teenagers rose in the mid-2000s with the spread from the internet written form to use in spoken language.
There you go.
Yeah. It doesn't really say where it's actually from, though.
Yeah, it's before South Park and before
South Park. No.
Huh?
You mean it was used before South Park used it?
Wait, and before South Park, South Park did it come out in 98?
Yeah, and pwn didn't. When did pwn actually start? Okay, so somebody's saying that pwned, this term actually comes from the game created hundreds of years ago, even before computers were invented. This game was called chess. The act of the game was to put the other player in checkmate, meaning he was unable to move his king anywhere that he would not threaten by another piece. Also in this game, you have 8 pieces at the front and you're called pawns. I don't think this guy knows what he's talking about. This is
Right.
I
see that too. I'm in the same thing. I mean,
this is a Blizzard
pawning-
chat room, so it's not. You can't even say you can't even say that's accurate. So this is kind of an interesting conversation because it's here terminology games. This is from StackExchange.com. It is a malformation of ownage to dominate. Yeah, we know that. Where does it come from though? The P in pwn alteration with the computer community has been believed to have had originated from typing too fast on standard QWERTY keyboard, thus missing the O and typing P instead. It could also be thought to pay homage, look at that, I just said homage, to early hackers who tampered with phone equipment rather than computers, and pwn may simply be following this trend, e.g. phishing, phreaking. Phishing spelled PH, freaking spelled PH. According to one definition in the Urban Dictionary, the term pwn dates back to the 1960s at MIT. It was used competitively by programmers working on chess AI. When one outprogrammed the other, he would refer to himself as a king and the others as pawns. It started as being used on FidoNet across the BBS world before the internet went public, although it was used on the internet between universities at the time. That's interesting.
Yep. In the 90s, it was 80s, 90s was hacking and gaming. It was published in 89 as the term pwn or pwning.
Yeah, that's really cool, actually, to read that.
So it was before South Park and Counter-Strike, so we were both wrong. Anyways, where I was going with this is there was a web series also called Pure Pwnage, or Pure Ownage, if you want to read it that way. That was it's from Canada, and about these two gamers. One of them was called FPS Doug, who was a first-person shooter guy, right? And then there was Taponer or the owner, if you want to pronounce it the way it's supposed to be pronounced. And it just kind of went through, it was like a mock documentary where they'd go through and like play these games, go to this game shop. I mean, it's actually really good, but like FPS Doug was like this really dumb jarhead guy, but was really good at playing games. Yeah. And his whole thing was boom, headshot. Like that term boom, headshot, it became popular from this web series called Pure Ownage or Pure Pwnage.
Oh, interesting.
And they made a movie, they made a comic. It was just, I mean, they only had 3 seasons, but I watched all of them. I liked it a lot.
I should check it out. Because I couldn't get into Red versus Blue.
I couldn't either. It just seemed too lame, too like cheesy to me.
Yeah, it was just like, I knew of it. It was really popular, in the early 2000s, late 90s?
Yeah.
No, it was because it was basically after Halo, right?
Yeah, it was. It's based on Halo.
So when did, yeah. But I'm saying after the Halo game came out, when did that come out?
90 something, 99.
No, when did the first Xbox come out? Halo.
I thought it was. I thought I was in high school when it came out. 2001. So I was out of high school.
2001. So that's interesting. So it was like 2002, 2003 when Red versus Blue came.
Red versus Blue was 2003.
Yeah,
first season. But it's like for me, it was just like I watched a little bit of it. And I was this is kind of funny, but then it became super repetitive, and I was like, I just don't give a shit anymore.
Yeah, I couldn't get into it. What is your favorite? I'm just asking you random questions. What's your favorite British show?
It's a toss-up. If I'm going for a favorite all-time British show, it's going to be Monty Python and Monty Python's Flying Circus.
Okay.
If I'm going for like sitcom-esque show, it's going to be
let's go sitcom. Let's go sitcom.
Fawlty Towers.
Fawlty Towers, really?
Yeah.
So old, man. What are you, like 60?
No. It's not that old. I mean, I didn't say
it is Hill. Old, though. Fawlty Towers is old.
It's in the 80s or late 70s.
Old. It's a while ago.
You're from the 70s.
I was born in the 70s. That thing
from 75, 79. Yeah, it's old.
I'm just saying that's a long time. It's interesting that you in your late 30s. I almost said your late 60s. That's hilarious.
I'm in my mid 30s. Fuck you.
Are you 36?
Mid to late 30s.
Are you 36?
Mid. To
are you
late
36?
30s.
Answer the question.
You know I'm 36.
Okay, so you're closer to 40 than you are 30. So,
but I'm closer to 35 than I am to 40. So I'm mid to late, not late.
Mm-hmm. Okay, whatever. It's interesting. Someone in their late 30s is, into a show that was from 1975 because, like I never watched any show that I watched from that was a repeat, and I liked it too because I like John Cleese. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
I mean my favorite British sitcom is IT Crowd. I
that's a
cried
good one, too.
watching that, and I've cried watching Absolutely Fabulous as well, because there's some
Oh my God, that
classic,
was so good.
classic episodes, like when they're going to sell her daughter into slavery in Morocco so they can get more drugs, or when the mom, the grandmother, turns around and says, "These gloves are so weird," and she's got condoms on every one of her fingers. It's just like, what is going on? But the IT crowd for me was because Absolutely Fabulous is just a bunch of randomness. It kind of reminds me of somewhat of a conceit, like they have somewhat of a thin, cohesive story going on, and then it's just like Family Guy jokes after the episode.
I think, and I could be wrong, but I think a lot of Ab Fab was just them ad-libbing over a basic plot.
Yeah, it might have been. Yeah, I mean, it was awesome, and then they just redid it a couple years ago. Not redid it; they just continued the story with the same people. Did you know that?
Yeah. They made a movie or something. It did something.
But I don't think they can capture the same magic that they had back when they first came out. When they first did it, it's kind of like Red Dwarf. Red Dwarf, the original Red Dwarf series is so funny, and then they came out with it again a few years ago, and it just couldn't capture that same type of magic.
I haven't watched anything past, I think, season 8 of Red Dwarf.
Yeah, there's some classic episodes that just make you cry. But
they're up to season. They've done 13 of them now.
Yeah, but
Red
they
Dwarf.
took like a 10-year hiatus or however long it was.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah, or like a 15-year. It was a long hiatus. Let's put it that way. And it just didn't live up to it. You know, there's not very many shows that can do that. Take a hiatus like that and come back and be successful like that.
Right, because things change, people's sensibilities change, jokes change.
Yeah, jokes change, everything changes. I mean, look at Roseanne.
Yeah, that didn't last.
No, well, she put out those crazy tweets, and then they got rid of her like the very next day, and now they've actually signed on. They're going to continue the show, but call it The Connors.
Are they? Because I heard.
Yeah, and she signed off to not get any money from it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I heard they were trying to bring it back without her.
Yeah, that's what they're doing.
I mean, I hadn't watched it, because I don't have TV and I don't really care for Roseanne. But I heard from some people, like my mom had watched it, and she said it was, it was funny, and they did balance out the right wing shit with left wing stuff too. They try to balance it out with stuff. I don't know.
I like how you say right wing shit with the left wing stuff.
Well, there's a reason why I say it that way.
I think, when I think about left and right, I always think
they're both crazy.
Yeah, I don't understand why anybody would want to label themselves one or the other, when really you should be looking at the issue, reading what you know, and then voting for the people that you think are going to do, the right thing.
Right.
Being the president is hard, man. You can't just judge somebody because they said pussy or they said whatever.
A whole lot more to it.
I don't think Donald Trump might have let's pick on Trump for a second.
That's easy.
Maybe he started being like, I'm going to go and this is going to up my popularity this much more.
Right.
I'm a reality star, which is crazy to think that a reality star is our president. It's
so crazy.
Nuts. But at the same time, once he got into it and he was going to, and he's winning now, I'm sure he's not sitting there going, how do I fuck this nation up as much as possible? He's probably thinking, I think this is going to be the best thing for us to do based on this, and this. And we don't have all the information. He's just so slimy. You know what I mean? Like I could feel like if I went and met him, I'd feel like I'd have to take a shower after meeting him.
Right.
And that's unfortunate because I want him to do a good job. I want him to be successful in what he's doing. Like I want every president to do a good job.
Yeah, I want them to be good no matter what party they're with, but it's hard. It's hard with a president like Trump. Because let me rephrase that. It's hard with a Republican president with the Republican Congress and House that we have right now.
Yeah.
I think that's more important to see who's around him and not just him,
right.
Right. Because it's
an interesting thing to watch people. I mean, because there is some weirdness going on. Like,
there is.
Okay, for example, Roseanne said what she said, and she rightfully got slapped for it, right?
Yeah, she got canned.
Yeah, but she even came out and said, she's got issues. She's got mental issues, right?
She tried to blame Ambien on it, but whatever.
Well, because she has mental issues. Like even like Joe Rogan came out and talked about it. She's like, she's mentally sick. She has been her whole life. She has issues. She sees a psychiatrist. She sees people, anybody knows that they're hiring Roseanne is getting somebody that could go off at any minute. And now you're giving her a phone in her hand to tweet. She's going to say shit that's just crazy. That's going to happen.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Disney and ABC should have been very cognizant of this. He's like, people like her, the phone should be taken away.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because there's things that we say in our private life that we won't say in public. She just happens to say anything that comes to her mind. Then you have somebody like Samantha Bee 2 days later call the press secretary a cunt.
Yeah.
Nothing. No one says anything.
Oh no,
Well,
that was all over.
Sure,
that was
from
all
the
over Twitter.
from one side, but she didn't get fired. She didn't get public discrimination. That was reprehensible. What she said about anybody.
Well, it's so it's different.
I don't think it's different.
It's different. Here's why. Roseanne was on a family sitcom on a national TV station.
Sure.
Samantha Bee is a political commentary on a racy cable TV show. Those two things are completely different. That's like holding a child, like a family TV host to the same level as you would hold a shock radio DJ. Is what they say,
that's
right?
True. That's true. That's true.
I mean,
but still, dude. She's not on HBO.
She's on TBS, which means she can say whatever she wants to there.
Yeah, she's on TBS. You can't say what you want.
Essentially, you can. When she gave out the cunt award. I mean, she gave out an award to
I'm just saying that there is some weirdness about the whole thing where you can get away with a lot more if you identify yourself as left and libertarian than you can if you identify yourself as right and conservative.
Well,
it feels like that to me, and I don't consider myself one or the other. I don't.
I see what you're saying.
I didn't vote for Obama. I didn't vote for Trump. I primarily voted for somebody that I thought would be the right person. But when Obama left, he had 100% my full vote, my full support. You know what I mean? I don't talk bad about him. I thought he represented America very well as a whole. So I don't feel the same way about Trump. I feel like he's somewhat of a national disgrace based on.
Well, I feel like he doesn't have the country first mindset. I feel like he still has the Trump first mindset.
Could be. Yeah, you might be completely right about that. You know what I mean? And I just think that the way he treats women is a little reprehensible. And he's just, I just don't think I don't know, man. He just feels like white trash to me. And maybe that'll be like terrible. And people that listen to us will bash me out for that kind of sentiment.
I don't care. If people like Trump, more power to them. If you want to talk about it with us, I'll talk to you about it. I don't care. I'll have a conversation with anybody about anything, as long as it's a conversation, not a yelling fest. I mean, we're not really bashing Trump. We're giving an opinion on him. And like, I really honestly think somebody said it the best way about Trump is Trump feels like he is a homeless man's interpretation of what a rich man should be. Right?
Yeah, that's probably,
because I don't understand people who full on 100% support him, especially the religious sect that support him, like the evangelicals and the Christians and the Catholics and all that kind of shit that support him when he's been through divorces, when he's been through all this stuff that their religion tells them you can't do, and they're still like, nope, he's our man. He's our man. Because he's Republican and he is anti-abortion because he's Republican.
Yeah.
He's our man. But yet he does all these things that you bash people in your religion for. I mean, this is not all Christian people. This is not all evangelicals and all Catholics. I'm just saying there's a lot of them that support him. And he literally goes against your religion, but yet you're 100% behind him and think he's the best thing in the world. And it's just crazy. And I don't want to see. I don't want to have a bashing Trump conversation with anybody.
I don't want to do that with that at all. With anything,
Yeah.
I don't even want to. We don't even get political because I don't want to turn into things like that. I mean, you can't even like. I posted a thing on Facebook. I won't even say what it was, and it became a political nightmare with my friends bashing each other over an issue. And it was like, this is not why I posted this. I just thought it was neat that something was finally being done. And then, and now it's become this whole thing. And then Facebook, for some reason, doesn't even allow you to turn off comments on your personal page, which drives me insane.
That's insane.
I hate it because it's like, one, I wanted to delete the post, but then I didn't want to delete the post because I didn't want people going, oh, well, and maybe I thought too much about it. You know what I mean? And I should have just deleted the post and walked away and not even care what people think. But at the same time, it's like, it just drives me nuts because it's like you can't have like political talks are bullshit. Because it doesn't, unless you're holding office or unless, like, I have more respect for somebody that I don't agree with their opinion of what they're fighting for, but they're fighting for it. And they're out there doing it. And they're running that gambit and they're running that fight. And I'm sitting here going, oh, you're wrong, but I'm not doing shit to countermeasure what they're doing. You know what I mean? Because their belief is so much more than mine. And in that instance, for me, I'm like, okay, I have nothing but mad respect for that. And, our show is not about that kind of shit. We're about having fun. And
right.
It's weird to even have this conversation. But at the same time, I felt like, with all the climate that's been going on lately, it's kind of interesting.
It's crazy climate, man. It comes up everywhere you go. And like, I'm not really one, I don't know. There are certain people in my life that I'm friends with or are family to me that are on both sides of the spectrum of left and right.
Yeah. Yeah. We have a very diverse family.
Yeah. But what I'm getting to is there's people on both sides that I have unfollowed on Facebook to not see their posts anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't blame you.
Because I got tired of the propaganda shit. I don't want to see it anymore.
Well, and then it's like, you can't have, and it's the same way on both sides. Let's talk about net neutrality, for example. Anybody who looks at net neutrality and takes the time to actually understand what net neutrality means and how it works will say, wow, that's a really good thing to have in place.
That's important.
And the ones that just say, well, I just believe in free enterprise competition aren't getting it. It's like,
that's not what
the
it's
whole
about.
point of net neutrality is to have that so free enterprise can be competitive. You only have so many ways to get on the internet. People think they take it for granted, but you only have, like for me here, if I'm not using a cell phone to get on the internet, I'm either gonna have to use Comcast or I have to use a local company called Frontier or CenturyLink. And that's it.
And where I'm at, I get Comcast or Comcast.
Yeah. That's the only choice you have. Now, if you don't have net neutrality laws in place, what happens? Now, Comcast can force you to have all their stuff at the highest bit rate possible, and you can get all the stuff, great speeds. Go watch Netflix. All of a sudden, it's a trickle. It's like 1997 speeds.
Yep, they'll bottleneck it because Netflix doesn't want to pay for them.
Because they're allowed to, unless you pay for that more. So now you got to pay more to have the same speeds for Netflix that you do for any kind of Comcast service.
Right, that's crazy.
And it just doesn't make sense. And I think anybody should understand that that's not right.
That's not a free market, because that's literally taking away the free market from small companies to be able to have a chance.
Yeah, yeah. And it's just, I don't know. It gets weird when you have, I think things like Facebook and social media in general gives like this fake face facade that people can hide behind, and they're not going to act like that with you in public or to your face. They don't. But
because some of the people on Facebook that I don't follow because of the shit they post, I can talk to fine in person.
So
but
weird.
Online, it's like I can't deal with you. You're just too much.
Yeah, it's so weird. I don't get it.
Yeah, I've gone away from saying anything on my Facebook that can be even remotely political, unless it's like,
oh man, as soon as I posted what I posted, I instantly within 5 minutes I regretted it. Like literally 5 minutes, I was like, oh, why did I do that? Because I never do that.
It's stressful.
But it dealt with kids, and to me, when kids are in line, it should be a very black and white thing. You don't do this to kids.
Right. Don't do this to kids. Just like as earlier we said, don't rape people. But it's like, we should be able to have a conversation with people on Facebook with our family and friends about important things that we think are important. But the problem is so many people are so uneducated about the topics they don't that are passionate.
Articulate a valid argument.
Yeah. And it's not that I want to say they're uneducated in general. I'm saying they're uneducated about the topic that like I'm dear to or you're dear to or what they're talking about. Or they think they're educated, but they only know one side of the conversation. They don't take a chance to read the other side. Because I found in my life that if you're going to talk about a topic, you've kind of got to know both sides, right? You can't just take one side completely and take that as truth, because if you don't know what the other side is saying, you're doing yourself and the topic a disservice. Like when I was in debate club back in high school, one of the things I did before every debate is I made sure I could debate both sides, right? Because if I can't debate both sides, then I don't understand the issue. That was my philosophy.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Well, because I don't know, and anymore on Facebook, because like you can't post it because people just want to argue and fight about it and call you an idiot and say stupid shit like, oh, that's fucking Obama's fault for this. Like the whole fucking separating the kids thing.
Well, the problem is
Obama did that. No, read the laws, read the shit you talk about.
Right. Well, what Trump did wasn't illegal, but it was immoral. It was unethical. And to me, whether Clinton started it or Obama started it or whoever, it doesn't really matter. It's being done today. So let's just take care of it and call it good and then move on. My problem too is not to pound the nail of what you were saying, but I feel like people don't want to educate themselves or to learn from somebody else, right?
No.
People need to, sometimes people
sells.
just need to do it on their own to make that turn. And that's fine. But when they're only getting their news from specific sources that is an echo chamber for what they believe in already, then things don't change, right? It's like the algorithm for Facebook. If you keep looking at the same stuff, then they keep sending you the same stuff. So if you're only looking at right wing or left wing or libertarian or left or whatever it is, that's all you're going to get when your news feeds. And so you're not learning anything. And the problem is they're not I don't feel people tend to look at the issue as a whole. They just look at it from their political viewpoint. And it's like, I don't like looking at things like that. I prefer to look at it from a humanitarian standpoint of what I think is right and wrong, and understanding
right and wrong,
that
what's better for society versus what's better for you.
Yeah, and understand that things aren't always black and white. We live in a colorful world, and there's a whole gray area that a lot of people live in because some things kind of go one way or the other based on what makes sense for the time. You gotta look at what's actually going on. Yeah, it's just the whole thing is getting crazy. I want to turn off Facebook so many times, but I don't, only because of the amount of friends that I keep in contact with there.
I know,
That's
right?
the only reason that I keep it on, and the fact that we have a Facebook page for Spoiler Country. But, anymore, it's like, well, we do a lot of stuff on Twitter too, so are we so concerned with it? But then it's a nice way to get a hold of people.
It is. And I like seeing the pictures of my friends' kids, like where my family's at, stuff like that. But I could do without the political arguments.
Yeah, I kind of wish that they would, I don't know. Some people will hate hearing this, but I kind of wish they would just ban any political groups and news. Like Facebook should not be where you get your news.
Oh God, no. And
a lot of people do. And I was guilty of that for a couple years. I'd go in and I'd just be like, oh, here's trending topics of news sources that are happening right now around the world. Oh, well, get that and that. Oh, okay, cool. And then I was like, I turned 40 and I'm like, what am I doing? Why am I getting my news this way? This doesn't make any sense. What am I doing?
Yeah, you should be getting news from various sources and I
try to stay away from Fox and I try to stay away from MSNBC.
Yeah, I try and stay from all the hard-leaning left and hard-leaning right ones because it's no good.
Yeah, because it's like they're not telling you anything that is of value because they skew everything to their viewpoint. You know what I mean? Right. And I know that's impossible to do. Like, it doesn't matter if you read like BBC or CNBC or any. It doesn't matter where you get your news from. Everybody's going to skew based on the writer because it's impossible not to, Right. Edward R. Murrow fucking skewed because he couldn't, how do you not, So I get that, but I try to do the same thing I try to look in different places. I try to say, okay, I'm interested in this. What is the other side saying?
Right. It's like when it comes to elections and stuff. I will research both sides, both parties, or if there's three parties, all three people involved. If there's a topic like the per vote, like a referendum or a proposition or whatever, I'll read it and I'll read what both sides have to say. And it's an event because I don't want to vote on things uneducated because I don't want to go into it and say, oh, I'm just voting for this guy because he's a Democrat or this guy's a Republican or an independent.
Put your pamphlet up on the wall and we'll just throw darts at it because that's what basically people are doing.
Right. So, I mean, I don't know. I think people always say, your vote doesn't count, but voting does count, and voting is an important part of our democracy.
Here's the deal. Everybody really, really focuses in on the president, and I could tell you right now, the president's stuff does make a difference, obviously. But what makes the most difference in your life and will propagate up is your local government. Your local stuff. And that's where you need to pay attention. What's going on around you, because that impacts your daily life all the time.
And that will impact the president next election.
Yeah. So there's our political rant. I think that's probably enough for the whole year.
Tangent's 4. Let's get political. Or 5. Let's get political.
Let's get political. We had Ben Templesmith on and we got pretty political there for a little bit.
Yeah.
Back in the day. And so we had, was the last time we actually talked politics.
It was.
Yeah, because we both don't. I mean, first of all, if you and I start talking politics, we're most likely talking to a vacuum, anyways.
Right.
There'd be some things that we don't agree on, like there's some gun control stuff that you and I are on opposite ends with, but that's about it.
Yeah, I mean, but I mean, I don't know. It's good to talk. I do like the fact that we're both. I don't know. I don't consider myself to be a left wing Democrat or on that full side.
Yeah.
I don't consider you to be either. I really don't consider myself to be either Republican or Democrat. I just prefer to find my own self, my own views when I'm voting on things.
Totally.
I think that's more important.
Totally.
The whole vacuum of you have to be part of a party is stupid. You should not have to be part of a party to vote.
The two-party system is broken. It just doesn't make sense at all to me. I think the whole concept of a president doesn't make sense anymore.
Right. Why?
I'd just rather see I don't know. I'd rather see somebody like maybe not the size of Congress, but like a 3 or 4 person system, or more like the Supreme Court justices. Not so permanent like the Supreme Court justices. I think that's crazy that they're allowed to.
That
be
is
lifetime.
crazy. It's for lifetime,
but like a 3 or 4 person entity. You know what I mean? It makes the decisions, because this one person having that much power for the most powerfulest country the world has ever seen, whether people agree with it or not, it's the truth, and it has been for the last since the 1940s, after we dropped the bomb, that was it. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it's crazy to me that one person has that amount of power. It is, I mean, I'm glad that we have hard line, you can only be here for this long and all that kind of stuff. And you only do 2 terms, 4 years, 1 term.
Yeah, that's nice.
That's good. But it's crazy that somebody like Trump has the ability to launch a nuclear missile and destroy a fucking country.
Yeah, which would then in turn destroy the fucking world because other countries would retaliate, and it's just crazy.
But it's just weird. So, I mean, why don't you have it by more of a committee? And it doesn't need to be, it needs to be an odd number, right?
Yeah.
3, 5 people, right? Because that way you can never have a stalemate on something, and then have it be like that. I maybe I'm stupid. Maybe I'm naive on that, but
no, it's a concept. Originally,
look, we had monarchies forever, and that was deemed dumb.
Those don't fucking work,
right? And you slowly evolved away from that, and now you've had a Congress that dictates most of the laws, and then you have one person, and that was a better democracy. But maybe it's time for democracy to evolve a bit. I don't believe in socialism. I think socialism doesn't work. Not for a country this size.
No, it works in small villages and small areas, not something this big.
So that,
greed wins out.
I don't know what we need to do, but I don't think a one person is the answer. To me,
I always thought it'd be great if and I think they used to do this back in the old days, but whoever lost the presidency became the vice president, because then you have the person in power, and the second in charge are have different viewpoints, and they can work together to, not just one party pushing everything through. You have that balance there. Because the problem with having, a Republican president or a Democratic president with a matching House and Senate is there's no balance of power, right?
Yeah.
When you control, it's one party controls that much power of the country.
Right. It's say if you have
Shit can happen.
a Democratic president and a Democratic House. It's the exact same thing.
Yeah. Well, that's okay. By the way, we had that with Clinton, right?
Yeah. But the one thing with Clinton though is more people went to college under Clinton. It was easy to get into school.
Yeah. Yes. I don't know. I was in junior high school then, so I don't know.
See, I went to college and I was like, oh, and you just literally, dude, you just walk down to the college and say, I need to get money so I can go to college. And they're like, okay, fill these forms out. Boom, you're in college. What was it? They didn't even run your credit. They just said, boom, there you go. And you're going.
You're white, you're in.
It didn't matter if you're white. That's the other thing, though, dude. Why is everything having to become down to color and everything all the time right now? I get that there's a conversation that needs to be had at times, but when it's pounded every time, you know how many times it's just white joke after white joke after white joke now?
Yeah. Well, I think part of that comes the fact that it's now people are talking about it more than they ever did before, to where people are saying this shit that happened to them.
It feels safer to say it. You think?
So we're just seeing it. We're not that it hasn't been there before. We're just seeing it more now.
Like I don't get offended so much. Like, oh my god, because I've met people that just get all up in arms about the whole thing. But because it's like, I don't know, man. I don't like the fact that it's okay to make fun of white people and cracker and all this, but it's not okay to make fun of of another race. Like right now, it's like you can make all the cracker jokes you want and completely be prejudiced and make racist jokes about white people, and it's okay, but it's not against anybody else. And it's kind of, look, for me, it's healing can't begin until forgiveness is given. And going to the other extreme is not forgiving anybody.
No, it's not. It's a crazy middle ground where it's like, well, it also feels too as if you're a white person and you even talk about that, then you're on the other side.
Yeah. It's weird. It's like you can't talk about things without people calling you out, making you feel like you're a shitty person. And it's like, well, I have feelings too.
Right. I mean, and like I grew up in Washington State, one of the most liberal states in the union, where it just nobody gives a shit what you are for the most part. I mean, nobody cared if you were black, white, Asian, or whatever. When I grew up,
well, let's be fair, we grew up in Bremerton, and there was a lot of racial tension in Bremerton for a long time.
Well, technically we grew up in Bremerton, but I grew up in Silverdale, right?
Not much difference,
like. I guess, but there was because Bremerton was like the ghetto.
Well, Bremerton, Silverdale, and all that was predominantly white, still is. You're having more and more minorities moving in and giving it a very much needed kick in the ass for a lot of things.
I just remember in high school we had a lot of Asian kids and we had
the Navy
black kids and stuff, and nobody cared. Like nobody gave a shit if anybody what you were.
For the most part, I guess so. I mean, but I was in a different timeline than you, right? I was.
Yeah, you were 8 years before me.
I was in junior high in the 80s, graduated high school in the early 90s, and there was still a lot of racial tension then. Which was weird, kind of shitty.
Yeah,
we had multiple times, dude, where white supremacist groups spray painted and held rallies right outside Olympic High School. Spray painted the high school with a bunch of racist epitaphs.
Fuck.
Burnt a cross.
I don't remember that. I don't remember that shit happening. I was in school.
Well, I was in school. It did. And it was weird. It was uncomfortable because it was like, and then it was like you could feel some of the people that you knew were very much felt one way. And if you didn't feel that way, all of a sudden you were ostracized. And it was just like, that's just wrong. I don't want to hang out with you then. I'm good.
Right.
You know what I mean? But then at that time, like, as weird as this sounds, like, black people hung out with black people and white people hung out with white people and Asians hung out with Asians. There wasn't a lot of mixing around of, hey, I just have friends that might be multicolored. You know what I mean? That sounds weird.
Yeah.
Might be
multicultural
and or not, And it's like now I have lots of friends that are of all nations and I don't even think about it. It's just so-and-so, And I don't think about it. But then It was very weird. When I look back on it now, it was like you hung out with this. And if you're like a black girl going out with a white guy or a black guy going with a white girl, man, you're asking for trouble. You're asking for real trouble, like real trouble, you know?
Yeah, that was totally different from my, I mean, to be fair, my high school experience was not the normal.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, I had a close group of friends. I didn't really give a shit about the people at my school, so I didn't really pay attention too much. But in my group of friends, you know, we had, you know, there was white kids, black kids, Asian kids, Latino kids, whatever.
It's good.
We didn't really care about anything. It was like, what? You're a person. Just don't be an asshole.
Yeah. But like, I want people to understand. Go ahead. Sorry.
But like, I didn't really go to my senior year. My senior year, I mostly skipped because I was in like, I had 6 classes to go to, but I really only had 2 classes to go to. That was my first period every day. And after that was just advanced computer maintenance and advanced media communications, where I would just take in the classes because I wanted to be there for credits or whatever, for extra credits. And I really didn't do anything. Like half the time it was either I just took a nap, I went home, or I taught the class because the teacher wanted to take a break.
Oh, there you go.
You know? So I was like, my senior year, I wasn't really at school that much. It's like,
my senior year, I only went to I only had to go to school for 1 semester, and I only had to go through periods 2nd, 3rd, and 4th.
Yeah, see, I could have graduated at the end of my 11th grade year. I had enough credits for it, but I stayed for 12th grade for a girl, which was the stupidest thing in the world to do. You know?
I want people to understand that if I come across as weird, it's
you are weird.
But it's I think it's good that people are feeling okay and have the ability to call people out on their shit. You know what I mean?
Right.
Especially when it comes to quote unquote white privilege, because I don't know what that really means. You know, I can't wrap my brain around it. That doesn't mean that it's wrong or that it doesn't exist. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just that I myself can't wrap my brain around it because I grew, you know, we did grow up in Bremerton, and Bremerton is a very blue collar town. You just don't see people making it a bunch of money and doing anything like that. You see people working their ass off.
So the white privilege thing, it really clicked for me when I was talking to a friend of mine who's black, right? And I got it, but didn't get it. And then we were talking about it, and he was telling me about a conversation he had to have with his kid. And he lives in Chicago. And he was telling me, he's like, yeah, you know, my son's 5 years old. And last night we had to sit down and we had to have the police talk. And I was like, what do you mean the police talk? I mean, to talk about how the police are there to protect you. And he goes, no, how the police, you know, might make you a threat when you're not doing anything. And you need to watch out and watch yourself and listen to what they say and make sure you don't come off as a threat when the police are around you because they might shoot you.
Yeah.
I was like,
yeah.
I was like, that's a conversation. He's like, that's a conversation my dad had with me when I was a kid, that my uncles had with my cousins, that every parent I know has had that conversation with all of their kids growing up, as long as he can remember. And it's a conversation that he's like, a lot of people in the black community have that conversation with their kids. And I'm like, I've never heard of anybody doing that before. And any of, you know, because I'm white and all my family's white, and that's not a thing that we worry about, you know? And that really turned to me. It's like, oh, it's the fact that it's more of a thing of there's things that we take for granted that are second nature to us that are not second nature because of somebody else, just because of, or for somebody else, because their skin color, where they are.
One aspect. That
is one aspect. That's the thing that made
uniform thing that black people have to deal with, right? That I'm never going to understand,
right?
You know, and maybe that's a part of it, but there's a whole like invisible package of unearned assets that they talk about.
Right, I get it. And what I'm just saying is that was the aspect that got me to understand, okay, there is something there.
Sure. I mean, well, there's always been something there. That I understand. And that's not going to change in our lifetime. It's slowly changing now, right? We're seeing some real progress happening in front of our eyes that we haven't seen probably since the 60s.
No, it's great.
Yeah. And that's an amazing thing that's happening right now. It's kind of cool, you know, because I don't know, I've never, and maybe this is a part of white privilege. I've had the privilege, or not the privilege. I don't know. You know, they talk about racism, right? And if you look at all the races, white people tend to be the most non-racist individually, but most racist as a group. I think it's how it is. I don't know. I'm
Yeah,
talking shit now. I don't know what I'm talking about.
It's more of us.
Well, it's just kind of weird because I think it comes down to the fact that I don't know what I'm trying to say, man. I don't want to come across as ignorant. You know what I mean? Because that's not my goal.
Well, I don't think anybody has the goal of being ignorant. I want people to think I'm ignorant.
You know, because I'm open to learn. You know, I think that's where ignorance come from, right? When you're not open to learn and you just I'm right, and this is how it is, and this is the way it is, and this is how it's always going to be. That's being ignorant.
Well, that's the definition of ignorance and apathy. Don't know, don't care.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, and it is just I want to understand it more. You know, just to help me understand why people come from a certain place. I just don't think using aggressive comedy, I guess you could say, or aggressiveness is the way to do it. You know, because I'm pretty pacifist about a lot of things, you know?
Well, you can't force feed people to your opinion.
Yeah, you can't force it. And
you know,
and I don't know, maybe it just bugs me. Like I get bugged when people, I don't know, man. I get bugged by a lot of shit. We'll just leave it at that.
Right.
You know, it gets weird and it gets uncomfortable when you start talking about race because I'm not black, so I can't talk to their condition. Right. You know what I mean? And when I say condition, I don't mean like black is a condition. I just mean the condition of what they have to live in, you know, live through and deal with on a day-to-day basis because I have no idea.
Right.
You know?
Right. We know it from what we see and what we read and what we observe.
I can tell you this. It was
doing it.
Weird when I was in Ace Comic-Con. Okay, this is what I was thinking about when this whole conversation happened, actually.
There you go.
So when we were at Ace Comic-Con before you got there, right, these two young black guys came up to me and started talking to me, right? I was like, oh, they're cool. And the guy was selling his CD.
Yep, I know exactly who you're talking about.
Well, no, not the one that came up with us when we were. Are you talking about the guys that were outside? No, not them. You weren't there yet. It was inside.
No, I know. I wasn't there. I was just saying. I know okay, I thought I knew who you were talking about because I'd seen him before. But go ahead.
So, anyways, we started talking. They were nice. The rapper's name is Carnage. And he had his artist with them that drew the cover for his CD, and it was a picture of Carnage. The guy did fantastic work. You should see. I'll send it. I'll take a picture of it and send it to you. And he was like, "Hey, I want to thank you for not being scared of a black guy." And in my head, I was like, "What do you fucking mean by that? Who's scared of a black?
Right.
What? We're in a huge open forum. We're talking. Why that?" It was a weird, and he said it like over and over again.
Right.
You know? And it was part of his sales pitch. You know, it was definitely part of his sales pitch. But I didn't understand it. I'm like, where's this coming from? Why would I be scared of a black guy?
Right. Well, I'm not going to be scared of you just because you're black. I mean, that's okay.
Yeah. It was weird, dude. I was like, if you're going to be aggressive to me, I don't care if you black, white, Asian, Mexican, or Jewish. You know what I mean? I'm gonna defend myself.
I mean, there are people out there who see people who are black or whatever and dress a certain way and perceive them as a threat. You know,
well, I can understand that, especially if you hear some of the lyrics and you see and the way the bravado that they carry themselves with, then you could be intimidated by some things, and I think a lot of that is an act to get that intimidation out. You know what I mean?
Right.
To protect themselves at a level as well. And so, but I found that when I'm in a predominantly black community, I've always been very comfortable. I've never, when I was in Atlanta, we went to an all black club and man, I was hanging out with everybody. No issues.
Yeah. I don't care. I mean, I'm fine hanging out with anybody as long as they're nice.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
As long as they get along, as long as they present themselves as not being a dick, I don't give a shit.
Like the old Horsley adage, don't be an asshole.
That's right.
Well, I think we've come to a close of the Tangents 5. It was a very weird episode it was
a very different episode.
It was a deep episode. You guys maybe learned a little bit more about us than we generally give out there.
Hashtag deep.
Yeah.
Right.
Don't judge me.
Judge him hard.
Right.
Judge him so hard. But don't judge me, though. I'm cool.
Exactly. Just know that, we're open to learn in our ignorance. I mean, that's really what it comes down to for both political, racial, Marvel versus DC,
sexual,
Yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty good in my sexuality. I don't need to know much more than what I already know.
Well, just in case, you don't knock until you try it, man. You never know.
No, I'm good.
All right, man. That's a show.
That
dude.
is
That's
a show. Don't forget, we are available everywhere podcasts are heard. We have T-shirts now. Please get on our website, check it out. Hopefully you'll like it enough that you'll be like, I'm going to support these guys and buy a T-shirt. I have one on right now. I love it. I'll be...
Buy 10.
Yeah, buy one, at least 7, one for every day of the week, right?
That's right. And buy some for your mom, buy some for your grandma, because as I said before, grandmas love us.
Sure. But, just know there's tons of different sizes there, a plethora of colors. You'll find something you'll like, I promise you.
Yep.
I already said that. So, but where can they actually get a hold of us?
So you can get a hold of us. You can talk to us on Twitter at _country. We're active there all day long. I'm constantly tweeting stuff out and replying to people and DMing random robots online for fun. You can hit us up on Facebook or Instagram. Just search Spoiler Country there. We have a website, scpod.net. You can go there and read reviews, read some funny transcripts. You can give us a phone call and leave us a voicemail at 707-656-2080. Again, that number is 707-656-2080. Leave us a voicemail, and we will do something fun with those in the future. We're cataloging them for now. Thank you, everybody who's called in so far, and give us some more. You can see us at cons in the Northwest, and we're going to be at a bunch of them that come up here.
Yeah.
And you can email us at spoilercountry@gmail.com, and that's pretty much it.
There you go. You guys, get a hold of us. Have some fun.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Call us out on some bullshit if we did, or if we offended you. Tell us.
Yeah, let us know. We're open to conversation.
We're open to conversation. Sure. I'll send you a picture of Johnny, and you can put it on your dartboard, and you can throw darts at it all day long.
I'll send you a picture of me too if you want.
There you go. He's got one with him getting his nipples pierced.
I do. I have pre-nipple and post-nipple and at piercing time if you want.
Post-nipple. It's just nipple
piercing.
Out, man.
So many.
All right, guys. Open that mind and read more.
See ya.
Oh, my God. Nipples.
What the fuck was that?
I don't know. That whole episode was like, what the fuck was that?
Oh,
I hope you like it.
Yeah, me too.